Hey everyone, and welcome back to Indicted TV. I'm your host Negra. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and follow us on Instagram. Before we start, you already know, gotta give a shout out to my sponsors, Royalty Honey. Keep it hard, guys. Also, make sure you guys follow LA Kush on Sunset. Make sure you use promo code 40 Negra at the Sunset location only. And if you want a tattoo or you want to learn how to tattoo, make sure you hit up ConnectInk. Also, for the best jewelry for his glory. Oh, and if you want to get your hairline back, make sure you hit up Finishing Touch. On today's episode, we have Fred.
Hello.
Welcome to Indicted TV, Fred.
Hi, thank you for having me.
No, of course. I'm happy. I'm finally. We finally did it, right? We're finally here. Tell us where you're from, where you grew up, your mom, dad, the inside of your house growing up.
I grew up a lot of places. I grew up in, started off in the Bell Gardens. I lived in Montebello. I lived in East LA for a bit. I lived in Baldwin Park. That's
You moved around a lot.
I did. My mom, I guess our family started in the Baldwin Park area. And then my mom was like, got to get out of here. So she moved us down, Montebello, Bell Gardens. And, I spent about 10 years of my life over there with my mom.
Hispanic area.
That's it. My mom's Mexican. My dad's black. So I'm a Blaxican.
Blaxican?
Yeah.
You're the first Blaxican here?
I'm here. I'm glad to be here. Yeah. So I grew up with my mom in, the Montebello area. And then when I was about 10, she had a stroke.
Oh.
Yeah, so then I had to move to Baldwin Park with my dad.
Got it.
And it was a big difference, right? I was growing up with my mom, my two sisters, my brother in Montebello, and my mom wasn't playing. She grew up, about that life and from the street. So she tried to develop us a different way and show us. I was in sports. I was a straight A student. Didn't miss from elementary to fourth grade, didn't miss one day of school. Yeah, she was like, if you're sick,
was on it.
Yeah, she was on it. She's like, if you're sick, you're gonna get the thermometer or I'm like, I'm good, I'm going to school.
Let's go, yeah.
Yeah. So, and then when she got sick, I had to move to Baldwin Park with my dad. So unfortunately, it was a big change that I wasn't ready for. My sister
And
wasn't
this is in
ready
the
for.
fourth grade.
Yeah, I was about fifth grade.
Fifth grade, okay.
Yeah, I was in fifth grade. So I went from Montebello playing my sports every day to going to church every, Sunday and Wednesday. We moved to pretty much an alley in Baldwin Park.
Oh, wow.
We went from our 3-bedroom house to an alley with a studio with my dad, his girlfriend, my sister, me. And so it was a culture shock. It was like, whoa,
wow.
What just happened? So then, my earlier life started where I had to start walking to school. I started, making decisions on my own. And
But you had no choice kind of vibes.
I had no choice. Yeah, that was how it happened. And, it just, I ended up at Alwyn Elementary School. Then I ended up at Sierra Vista Junior High, Baldwin Park High School. I played sports, and then I ended up.
So you still always continue to play sports?
Yes and no. Like I mentioned, my mom, she was like, you have to, I don't care, you're playing sports, you're not quitting, you have to have straight. She was on it. And then my dad was kind of like, it's up to you. Like if you want to play or not want to play. So part of me, I did want to play because I enjoyed, being around other kids and playing and just being competitive and winning. So I did keep playing sports for that reason. And I think it was probably one of the best things that happened that she instilled that in me. Because I believe it did keep me out of trouble for most of my life, as much as it could.
Yeah, well, we're here, right?
yeah, exactly. So what do you want me to tell you next? I can go deeper,
deeper as in what form? As far as go ahead, deeper.
I was just gonna say I can go in more into the childhood or teenage years or
I'm gonna ask you at what age did you see yourself kind of changing, because obviously you said you had you went from having everything 3 bedrooms to a studio, and obviously I'm sure that affected you a lot like you said, but you still continue to do your sports. At what age did you see yourself kind of changing?
Definitely when we used to shop at the Montebello Mall with my mom, and then I started shopping at the Violent Swap Meet. You know what I mean? I was like, this is things I didn't even want to wear. I'm like, I don't even know what this is.
Wow.
And not that it was a bad thing. I just didn't understand because we went from the mall to the Valley swap meet where the shoes were like, Payless shoes or Converse, and my mom had us at Mervyn's, J.C. Penney's, and
Yes.
so in my mind, I'm like, I don't want this. I don't want to live like this. So in my mind, it was different, but I never really said anything. I was a kid. I had to
with the flow.
Yeah, I went from wearing Levi's to Solos. You know what I mean? So it changed. It changed the game.
Yes.
So even my friends were always the same. Like that didn't matter to me. I grew up, Southern California, Baldwin Park, Montebello. There's gangs everywhere, whether Black gangs, Mexican gangs. That didn't bother me. It was more the way I was representing myself and appearance. Like I felt different.
You didn't feel like this anymore. You kind of felt like
I felt more judged because I already felt judged because I'm a Black and Mexican.
Yes.
Right? So the first 5 years of my life, I only knew Spanish. So people would judge, like they see this Mexican lady with this little Black kid.
And you spoke Spanish.
And I spoke Spanish. I understand, when they would talk shit and I would hear the things they would say and I just didn't understand. Or they talk about her hair. My sister, she started getting in fights all the time because she only knew Spanish. She's like, what? Then now she's arguing with people and then
in Spanish.
Because she's like, you're talking shit. I understand. Were you talking about us or our hair or anything like that?
Yeah.
But it was predominantly Mexican areas. So we, it started to change for us that way.
Did you start getting in fights as well, or no, not really?
Actually, I want to say in junior high, I started getting in fights. But the funny thing is, people that really know me, I mean this in a nice way. I'm not afraid of anything. I'm like, I don't care. But growing up, I grew up with my mom and my two sisters. So I was afraid of everything. Anything that happened, I was like, mom. I always want to go back to my mom, and I was afraid. Like, my sisters, they're older, so they're more with, they grew up with my mom in the street, so they didn't care either. They used to get in fights and, we just got in a fight in the street and blah, blah, blah. They come home and I'd start crying. Oh my God. Because I didn't know any better. And then, so when I moved with my dad, I don't remember what happened exactly. And something happened and I started crying because I was scared. And I think I was 11. This dude flipped the kitchen table over and was like, boy, you're a man, you don't cry. I was like, Burp. And I want to say that's probably the last time I cried. I'm like, oh, damn. And it scared me so bad, I stopped crying.
Oh, wow.
And so I was over it. And then fighting and drama, it became more in my life.
More normal.
Yeah, more normal. Into the point where I was still afraid. But then after a few fights, I wasn't afraid.
Got it.
And then I realized I was an athlete. So I played sports, so I was stronger and I was coordinated. And someone did want to fight, I ended up beating them up. So then I really wasn't afraid. I'm like,
oh yeah, you got that
confidence. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I'm like, all right, let's fight then. I joined boxing over there at Morgan Park in Baldwin Park.
And your dad was happy about it.
Oh yeah, he loved it. He wanted me to be a man. He wanted me to be strong. He wanted me to stand up for myself.
And I mean, it's only normal that a father feels that way,
of
about his son. Like he wants that. He doesn't want anybody taking advantage of him because you're a boy.
Yeah.
I mean, we want that even for our girls. I mean, I don't have any, but you do. Yeah. Or just, I'm just saying. So if you're a boy, you're like, no, boy, you better tighten up.
Yeah.
Even though like, I'm a mom of boys and I'm like, ay, mi niño, like, no.
Yeah.
Like I want to... Like, I don't know how I'm going to feel like with my kid because my youngest is, like, more tougher, right?
Yeah.
Like, if he goes in boxing, I'm like, oh, man, I'm going to go fight the freaking mom. So he hurts my baby,
Yeah.
But, so, yeah, like, your dad wanted you to be, like, more tough, and you're, like, showing him that you could do it.
Could.
You're like, okay, so you felt good about yourself as well. Your confidence, everything was coming back. Not that, it was kind of gone because when you were small.
My confidence was not even about fighting or drama or anything like that. Mm-hmm. But you're right. The more I got in fights, the more I felt better. And I wasn't afraid. And I felt better because I had internal anger, right? Whether it's from my mom getting sick or my dad, through his trials and tribulations that I've witnessed, whether it be, his addictions or just not being there, whatever it is.
Okay, I understand.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, and I'll tell you this, I love both of my parents. I don't hold anything against them. They're both, both in heaven now. I don't hold anything against them. Even growing up and people will be like, oh, well, your dad this. And I'm like, it is what it is. He taught me the best he knew. Yeah. And even if it wasn't the right way, I believe I was smart enough to decide
whether.
Yeah. He showed me this. Now do I want to do that or do I want to do this?
Yeah.
And that was up to me. And I took that responsibility as a person because I didn't feel it was his fault. So I don't have anything against him. To the day he died, I was there, cutting his hair, taking him, picking him, taking him to get food, and just buying him clothes, anything. I'm like, you're my dad. I don't care. You taught me what you can teach me.
That's how it goes. You know, we can
Yeah.
only do so much for our kids that, you know, sometimes we're not able to do much for our kids.
Yeah.
But all we could do is teach them the right way or whatever way we think is right, right?
Absolutely.
So, did you ever move back to your mom's?
So she never fully recovered from her stroke, and then she was legally blind and legally her like paralyzed, so she couldn't see well.
Okay.
So it was hard for me. There was nowhere for me to go because she was living with my sister, she was living with my aunt.
Oh man, it was tough.
It was. My youngest brother has cerebral palsy. So then now the family, we're trying to take care of him. And then my sisters are taking care of him and my mom. And I was a teenager. I couldn't do anything. I was living with my dad.
You just needed to survive.
That was it. But my plan was sports. So I was playing sports. I played football, basketball, track, and it kept me out of trouble.
That was your outlet.
That was my outlet. You know, some of my people that know me from sports, they'll tell you I used to knock people's helmet off, and I felt good, and it was fun, and I enjoyed it. But also because I feel like I have, you know, the love for my mom, and then the growing up as a man for my dad, I found the balance. So I don't like hurting people. But if someone wanted to hit me, then let's hit. Someone wanted to fight, let's fight. So I just match someone else's energy. But other than that, I'll mind my business. I'll be respectful and stay out of the way. So, you know, I didn't end up moving there. Like I said, I lived with my dad for, I want to say until my sophomore, junior year. And then my mom, it was like 4 or 5 years with my dad, and a lot happened. A lot. I grew up, you know, and became a man, and a lot of teenage years, and saw things. And, you know, the first time I was shot, I was 14. And that was when I was living with my dad.
It was because of him.
No, that was a different time. But that time when I was 14, I was in high school, and I played football.
Mm-hmm.
So when I went to high school as a freshman, they ended up signing me to the varsity team.
Because you were so good.
I was balling. And because that's all I cared about was sports. So then all my attention was there. So that was like my masterpiece. I just focused on that. So they moved me up. So then when they moved you up, then my friends were different, right? I wasn't hanging out with the freshman kids. I was now hanging out with the juniors and the seniors.
And you thought you were super cool.
That was cool. I was talking to all the older kids. I was with the older kids, but also I thought I was older already because of the life that I was living. And it was the beginning of my freshman year. We went to a party in Almani. I didn't know anything about Almani. I'm from Montebello, right? And I lived in Baldwin Park. So I didn't know anything about Almani. I'm like, yeah, let's roll. Let's go to this party. The seniors picked me up. We go to Almani, and there's plenty of gangs out there. And, you know, us black folks are not their favorite people.
Yeah.
And I found out the hard way. So at the party, we're at the party, and then some guys come up to my friend. He was darker than I was. And, you know, they start talking shit to him. They start arguing. A fight breaks out. So I go over there. The fight gets bigger and bigger. And before you know it, pow, pow, guns start ringing off. We're like, oh, shit. So we're running.
Real. Yeah.
Yeah. We take off running. And you hear the things they're saying. And I see the flashes. And I hear like the mailboxes and things getting hit around. I'm like, oh, shit.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we get into the car. We take off. Friend beat up. And the other one's busted nose. And it was crazy. So that was the first time that happened. And I was like, whoa, this is no joke. Yeah, this is no joke. That's probably the last time I went to Almani. You know what I mean? So
hey, I don't even go now.
I don't even go to Almani anymore. Like, I'm good. I don't even want to go over there.
And it's literally the next little city.
Oh,
like streets down.
Streets. Yeah. I lived right there on Los Angeles and Merced for a long time. So literally Los Angeles turns into Almani right over the little bridge. Mm-hmm. So that's another reason I like to stay in my lane, mind my own business. But yeah, that was the first time that happened. And it was an interesting life I started to live. And, you know, I had to develop to learn how to protect myself and stay out of the way. And you definitely get what you put into life. Yeah. Right. So now, like I said, I don't go to Almani no more just to avoid those situations.
Did you graduate high school?
I did. So I ended up, I played sports, you know, all through high school. My senior year, I transferred to Alhambra. And I finished my senior year there. And so actually, that's a good story that you brought up. Before I graduated, I got into another situation. And I want to say I got arrested. This was the third time I was arrested. The first time I got arrested, I was 12, hanging out with my buddies.
And what were you guys doing?
We were at the mall. and my friend wanted to steal some shoes.
Oh shit.
Yeah. So I don't know. New kids. I'm like, all right, these are my buddies. So we're hanging out. He puts the new shoes on and throws the other ones away. And he's like, get rid of these. I was like, all right. So I put them under the counter, under the seat that we're next to. All right, let's leave. And in my head, I'm like, I didn't do anything wrong. But that was wrong.
Yeah.
But no one told me. I was a dumb kid. No one's teaching me these things. So as soon as we start walking out, the mall, the loss prevention, like, all right, you guys come with me. And then they start grabbing my friend, and then I'm walking, and I had a screwdriver in my jacket because I was already living that life, walking around Baldwin Park, walking around. So I had a screwdriver.
Always some kind of
there's always something, and I've been taught it's either you or them. So I had a little screwdriver in my pocket. I put it in the plant. They arrested us, and I thought it was funny. Like, I thought it was a joke because I'm an athlete. I don't get in trouble. I have straight A's, right? I thought it was a joke. They took me and my friends. The one kid who actually stole the shoes, he got in trouble. And me and my other friend, we were like in the jail cell doing push-ups. Like, we thought it was funny. We were watching, right? That's from movies.
Oh,
like,
wow.
Yeah, we're dumb kids. Like,
I even give you the look like, what?
Exactly. That's how stupid I was. I thought it was funny. I thought it was a joke. Like, I'm not going to go to jail. This is not my life. I'm an athlete. So we get out. We're probation. That happened. And then I want to say I was 17. I had a car. My dad got me a car, a little bucket, a little Sundance, a little Buick Sundance. And I thought I was cool again. I thought I was fly.
You were in your life.
Yeah, I was, right? I was a cool kid. I had a car. I was a junior in high school.
You're a jock?
I was a jock. And then, so I get pulled over in Covina, and I didn't have a license. So they took me to jail. But they weren't supposed to because I was a minor. I was a minor, and all I was doing was driving without a license. They took me to jail. And again, I was like, damn, like, this is not for me. This is not what I want because I'm older now. I'm like, dang, I'm months away from graduating. I already took 4 trips to different universities because I was playing football. Yeah, so they flew me out for the weekend. And then that happened. I was like, all right, I got to, be cool again. So then I want to say a couple months later, my sister calls me. At this time, I signed with University of New Mexico. I went there for the weekend. They, show you around. They treat you to dinners. They, show you a good time. Like,
of course.
Yeah. So I went there. I went to Oregon State. I went to Arizona State, to USC and Utah State. So I went all these places.
Oh, wow.
And so in my brain, I'm like, my life is going to be different, right? I was already in my head, my life's going to be different. And I get a call from my sister. She's like, hey, my boyfriend's beating me up. So right away, hey, let's roll.
That's your sister.
Oh, I'm on my way. So I get in the car with my friend. We're heading out to Victorville. And so we get there. The guy now sees me, jumps in the car with his friend. They try to run me over. I move out of the way, and I hit the window, and it busts open. They take off. My friend pulls up. I jump in the car with him. We're like chasing these guys. Then the police pull us over, right? And they're like, we got reports of gunfire. We got reports of fights and all this stuff. And I'm like, I don't know. My sister was getting beat, and I came, and I tried to help her. And they're like, we got to look into this. And my hand was bleeding because I hit the window. They took like gun residue tests from my hand. They went to talk to my sister. All this happened, and then they let me go. They let me go, and then about 2 weeks later, one of the officers shows up. I was giving him a hard time because I was like, I don't care what you say. Like, you can't do anything. I didn't do anything. Because in my brain, I knew 1,000% I
that
did
you
not
didn't do anything.
Other than hit this guy's window. These guys try to run me over. My sister's over there bleeding. Like, I didn't do anything. So he shows up, and he's like, I just want to take you in for questioning. And he took me to West Valley Detention Center. And I was there for 30 days. Fighting this case.
How was that experience for you, especially because you really are a good boy. You're getting good grades. You're about to go, play football at one of the greatest schools. Like, you were doing great. And how was that for you? Because I'm sure the courts knew that you're a good boy to an extent.
Yeah. So I think I am a good person, but I also, like, if I feel a certain way, I'm gonna say it. If I feel something's wrong, I'm going to say it. I'm going to stand up for somebody. I'm going to defend myself. So that's probably, I guess, could be a downfall at times. But since I'm older, I have learned to curve it different. But the way I felt at that moment, I felt sick. I was like, no way. Like, one, because I didn't do this. I was like charged with assault with a deadly weapon, discharging a firearm in public, attempted murder,
Oh my goodness.
disturbing the peace. It was like 8 charges. So literally I was going back and forth to court, back and forth, because they're trying to figure out what happened, right? So then they move it. We hired an attorney. They pushed it forward because they're like, you guys have evidence with witnesses saying that this wasn't him. You have the person that was shot at saying it wasn't him. And you have gun residue on his hand, so it wasn't him. So after 30 days of me being in there, the judge looked over the case and released me.
Oh, good. But he knew that you were going to school and all of that.
Yes, but that actually ruined it.
You're kidding.
Well, yeah. And now these colleges are like, oh, we got this. That's what it says,
no.
right? We got this kid who's shooting a gun in public, who's even involved in this stuff.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so lost all my scholarships. Yeah. So that happened.
I wonder if that happens to a lot of kids.
I don't know about a lot, but I'm sure it happens to kids. A statistic, right? I'm another statistic. The odds of someone going to the NFL, the NBA are very slim. And
for those reasons.
For those reasons, whether it be a baby mama, whether it be a fight, whether it be you didn't graduate on time, whether it be you just thought you knew everything. There's so many reasons, and they go against you.
That's so
some kids start drinking, right? They can be the best athlete, 12, 10, 15, 16, 17. They start hanging with their buddies, start drinking. They don't even care anymore, right?
Yeah.
Or they get a job, and they're like, I'd rather make money. I don't have time to follow this dream.
Yeah.
So that does happen, and unfortunately, it happened to me too.
And how did the kids treat you while you were in there? Because you said you were 17.
I was one of the bigger kids because I was borderline.
About to be 18.
About to be 18. I think I get along with people because I mind my business. I don't get in people's conversation.
And you're not a gang member.
I'm not a gang member. I stay out of the way. I don't in the nicest way, I don't care what someone else is doing. I'm just worried about what I'm doing and
For sure.
how I could do my time. And I already know, and I kept learning, if I could get in trouble, but then I'm gonna get in more trouble. Right? And now I'm gonna be here even longer. I'm not worried about this kid. I feel bad for him. But there's always haters, I would say. I'm sure I have haters today, but they probably won't say anything. One, because
You really don't care.
One, I don't care. Two, they don't have a reason to hate because I'm not worried about them. I'm just doing my own thing. I support people and what they're doing and their dreams. But then when it comes to me, I'm not worried about hating on them. So if you're hating on me, you're just hating. You're just being a hater.
For sure.
And there's
exactly
people
what
like
you mean.
that. So
Yeah.
to say it out loud, they would feel stupid because they're like, why am I hating on him?
Yeah. No,
Yeah. So I would get the looks. I would get the attitude. I would get older like underwear and older socks in the beginning. Because I was a new guy and no one knew me. But like I said, I minded my own business. And I hooked people up with some phone calls. I'm like, oh yeah, you need to call somebody. I got you. Like the right people, right? Like I got you. Don't trip. And then they had sports on weekends once in a while, and that was my thing. So we used to play against other units, and then we started winning. So then Freddie was the man, right?
Yes.
Because we used to lose to Unit C,
Yes.
right? In basketball, flag football.
Because you played all sports.
I played everything. That was my thing. And we used to lose to Unit C. Then we went over there and we balled out and beat Unit C in football and in basketball.
So you did become the man.
Yeah. Not only we beat them, I like laid out one of their dudes, like one of their cool guys, the older kid, right? That would bully people and stuff like that.
Okay.
So
it
I
was
laid him out.
good.
Yeah. So they appreciated that. So now I started getting better socks. I started getting, hey, you want extra juice? Hey, Cobra. And then now they believed, oh, this guy really is an athlete. Maybe he's gonna go somewhere and do something. So those 30 days ended up passing, and back to reality and the next step in life, which was junior college. So that was my choice, right? To be a statistic, go to junior college.
Yes.
So I ended up going to junior college and playing for about a year and a half, which I did good over there too. Football, yeah. But again, it was the dumbest choice to stay because one of the universities would say, hey, do you want to go play for our junior college, I don't know, like Idaho? I'm like, heck no, I want to stay here. So then I was playing, but I was also going out with my friends. I was also partying. I was also not going to class on time because I was going to ELAC.
Got it.
And then I go whenever I want. The teachers were cool. So So
And you still got
decisions.
good grades. I mean, you still passed.
I was still passing, but now at this point in my life, I didn't care as much, right? Because mom wasn't there to kick my ass or give me
It was
something.
everything was on you.
It was on me to make a decision, and then I started making the right decisions, but then a little bit lazier, right? Because they start teaching you C is passing,
Yeah.
right? C's passing, you're good, as long as you do that. So I was pretty much C average. I was just like passing,
Yeah.
even though I should have been committing more time. But I mean, that's life. You got to live and you got to learn.
For sure.
Some people have those people to kick their ass and keep telling them, no, this is wrong. No, this is wrong. But also, I was getting bigger. I was getting older. I was smarter. And so people kind of started to leave me alone. They're like, he can do his own thing. Like,
Yeah.
my dad wasn't going to tell me anything. My mom wasn't going to say anything. So there was no one really else to say,
Because
hey,
you were doing what you were trying to do.
I was doing what I had to do. I was old. They didn't want to mess with me. So
Yeah.
they kind of let me. I guess, and then I ended up going to college. I went to the Missouri Southern for a while. I did good over there. But I used to get in fights. That was my thing. So I used to get in fights. Never do I pick fights. But if someone wants to fight, I'm the first one. Like, oh, what? You want to fight? Let's go.
Let's go.
Yeah. So that was kind of, I think, not this day anymore, because as the story leads, we'll get there. I'm over it more. So I would get in fights over there. I would get in fights in high school. That was my thing. Like, I would just get in fights when someone wanted to fight. So I ended up moving to New Mexico to play football over there, because I played for a year in Missouri, and their coaches were in touch with me. The players are like, yo, come to New Mexico. We need you out here. You can ball out here. I'm like, all right.
And it was easy for you. You'll be getting money from them as well.
They pay for your school. They pay for your board, the scholarship. So I'm like, fine. It's closer to home. Missouri was far. I didn't want to be in Missouri.
Yeah.
We call it misery. I met some cool people out there, some friends that I still talk to. But it was just, to me, now it's just another chapter of life where I'm learning something, and I want to keep going forward. I don't have anything back home.
Yeah.
Dad didn't have a place. Mom didn't have a place. I was an adult. So now I'm on my own.
So this is your way of surviving.
My way of surviving is
Staying in school and
staying
playing football.
in school, playing football, getting scholarships, minding my business, and hopefully the NFL. So then I transferred to New Mexico, and I'm there, I want to say 1 week. We get there 2 weeks before everyone else, because we start practicing. I'm there the first week. I'm meeting all the guys. Second week, their teammates. First week of school, I'm walking through campus, minding my own business, and I hear, yo, yo, yo. And I'm looking around. I'm like, who's calling me? And across campus, I see one of the football players standing face to face with some basketball players. Before I'm looking, and before I know it, they start fighting. I'm like, shit. So there I go.
Instead of minding your own business.
I'm also brotherhood. Sure, I may not gangbang, but I understand a team, right?
Got it.
And
he was one of your teammates.
In a sense, gangs and teams and friends
Kind
and
of the
groups.
same. Yeah.
I think they're the same.
For sure.
So I seen my teammate, right? And he was yelling for me, and there's 4 guys that he was fighting with. So I'm like, dude, I can't turn my back on this guy. So then I go over there, fight breaks out, everyone's fighting. Kids start coming out of class, other athletes, basketball players, football players. Before you know it, Royal Rumble in the middle of the campus. First week of school.
And New Mexico.
In New Mexico. So then, they have, security, they break it up, blah, blah, blah.
But is it kind of normal?
Yes, but that fight was huge. It was the biggest fight in their campus history.
Ever,
right? So then that was my first week of school. I'm like, damn, I'm trying to stay out of trouble.
Mm-hmm.
So before we're all in the dean's office, and they're like, listen, if you get in any trouble, you're done. Like, I'm like, dang, I can't get in any trouble at all. And which I did. I didn't get in any trouble. I was minding my business. I was doing my thing. And then I want to say, what was it? The end of the semester, like you said, it was normal. College kids, they're fighting all the time. They're They're at the restaurant, they're at the club, they're at the bars, they're getting in fights. And then I was at one of the school dances with one of my friends, and then someone taps me on my shoulder. I turn around, it's the 4 guys from the wrestling team. Like, yeah, so-and-so, and you guys, we got in a fight over here. And, so-and-so got sucker punched, and I'm looking at them like, dude, this fight's about to break out. So I'm talking to them, and I'm like, well, what do you guys want to do? And someone's like, let's jump him. So someone swung, and I, boom, knocked the first guy out, and now we got to fight in the school, inside of the thing, and a big fight breaks out. Football players, people are getting pepper sprayed. They break it up. And so I go home, and I have a black eye, and I'm like, I'm going to find those dudes. And they're like, no, you can't. I go, oh, you best believe I'm going to go find them. So I went and I found them and I beat them up. 2 days later, I'm in the dean's office again. Yeah. And they're like, you can't, we're going to expel you. You can't be here.
Oh.
And I was like, but look what they did in my eye. Like they jumped me. They came up to me and they're like, oh, well, that everything that's happened off campus, like that's none of our business. Like you came after the fact.
Facts.
Yeah. So like, we got to expel you. I'm like, all right, it is what it is. So that happened. And then I moved home and I was living at home and working and then working, making money. And then after about a year living the good life and just here, like, but part of me was like, man, I'm one semester away from graduating. So I had some extra cash. I'm like, you know what? I'm going back to Missouri. I called my friend up. He's like, yeah, pull up. So I paid him for the semester, paid my school for the semester, flew back out to Missouri and graduated.
Nice.
From college. Yeah. So I have my bachelor's in criminal justice. I have an associate's in law enforcement. And then I have, a minor in law enforcement and associates in liberal arts. So I graduated. I
That's
did my
good.
thing. Thank you. Yeah.
What the heck led you to, to be tell me what happened.
The next to how we're here now.
Yes.
So that's the little pieces leading up to it. So after I graduate, I move home, and so I'm at home, and back to work. Because I know tons of people. I'm not a hater. I work with people. I help people. I help them, get what they're looking for, or meet their friend, or build their business. Or I want everyone to win. And in return, I believe you'll continue to win as well.
For sure.
So the first time I'm at home, I go to a local bar by our house. Yeah. So I'm over here, and then I'm talking to some friends, and this dude comes up. Boom, gets in the way, and he's like, "What's up?
Drunk.
You trying to talk to my girl?" Blah blah blah. And they're like, no, we know him because I've been gone, right? 3-4 years. I've been in Missouri, New Mexico. Yeah. But these are my friends from high school. So the guy's, being tough or whatever. And I'm like, dude, whatever. So then my friends, they break it up. So I go back to my area where I'm at, minding my business. And I look up and the guy's staring at me. And he's like just staring at me. And so I go up to him. I go, what's up? You have a problem? I go, if you have a problem, let's take it outside. I go, don't make noise. Just go outside. Don't tell anyone. Don't tell your girlfriend. Don't tell no one. Just meet me outside. And then I go outside and I tell security, I'll be back. So then this guy comes outside and we're standing in the back area, and then he throws like some karate kick. I block it, boom, over with. He's knocked out. And then so the police come, his girlfriend comes. Yeah, I'm like, what? Oh, you know what? Someone told me inside that, he thinks he's hard because he knows karate or something. I'm like, I don't give none of that. Like, I'm gonna sock him right in his mouth. Like, I'm not tripping. Like, I don't.
Yeah.
So yeah, we go outside. He throws some weird kick, and I block it and just boom and drops him. I also have big hands, and if they hit you, they hurt.
Yeah.
So he dropped him. The dude was knocked out. The dude was knocked out, and I left. And the security was like, "I'll just go this way," because people. I wasn't looking for the fight. This guy was looking for it.
And they knew that, I'm sure.
Yeah, they did. So they were helping me, like, just leave, just get out of here. So then I leave, and I want to say maybe like 2 months later, I'm sitting in my apartment with my roommate, my best friend. We're sitting in our apartment, we're playing Madden, and I'm looking, and I start seeing like shadows on the outside. I'm like, that's weird. Like, I'm just always the way I grew up. I'm always aware of my surroundings.
For sure.
I'm like looking, I'm just feeling weird. The house is weird.
You know the vibes, like you just felt it.
I felt something was off, and then I opened the door, or no, he opens the door. And 6 police officers running with their guns drawn, dressed in their SWAT team gear. Like, oh shit! They're like, "Cobra, blah blah blah. We're looking for you." I'm like, "Oh damn! Like, what happened?" The guy arrests me, and they're in the regular. They look like Jiffy Lube clothes, like construction worker clothes.
What the heck?
Yeah.
And you're like this guy that just graduated like university. You're like have your degrees.
That's
and
what I'm thinking.
What?
Yeah. So then that happens, and he arrests me, and he sits me in the car. And he's like, I'm like, I think you got the wrong guy. Like, what are you looking for? And then he's like, oh, we got assault, like a great bodily injury. Like they're going above and beyond like the injuries. I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. Like, that's definitely the wrong person. So they have me arrested. And then the guy's like, yeah, but you look familiar. I was like, yeah, you look familiar too. So him and I were talking. It turns out this officer goes to downtown Alhambra. and has drinks on his days off. And I go, oh yeah, George. And I start telling him like the owners, because I mind my business. I have friends that are athletes. I have friends that, that are MLB players, NFL players. So we would go and we wouldn't start trouble. We go and we, get a bottle, buy some cigars and things like that. But if someone tripped, I'm like, oh, I'll deal with it. Like, don't worry about it. So he's like, yeah, you do look familiar. And then I was like, yeah, because so we hung out with like Ronald Belisari and Henry Ramirez a lot in this time. They were both on the Dodgers.
Got it.
So that's how he recognized me. He's oh yeah. So and he's like, oh, I got a code 4 with this guy. So then there's like 5 cars behind us. They take off. Gets me to the Pasadena station and then starts telling me. I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. It wasn't me. So then they put me downstairs and they're like, great bodily injury, leaving the scene of a crime, like just bullshit. So then I end up bailing out. And after I bailed out, I went back to court and then I ended up getting probation. So they're like, all right, you're going to be on probation because you did get in a fight. And this guy and this girl are willing to testify. The girl, the one I went to high school with, she was like, yeah, it was Fred Colbert. This is him. She gave all my information. So that's how they found me. So that happened. I was on probation. And then I want to say I was on probation for about 2 years, almost 3 years. And then I'm out with my friends. And Lakers are playing the Suns. And we're leaving a restaurant. And my friend starts talking shit with this other guy. So,
always fights, huh?
Yeah, always drama. So then I'm like, I'm leaving. And I was with a couple of my friends. And my friend Esmeralda, she's like, no, leave, get out. You don't need to be here. I was like, all right, you're right. So I leave. I get out of the building. And the fight breaks out on the patio. Big old fight. They hit my friend with a schooner mug. His face is like wide open. Yeah, and then they're jumping my other friend. I'm like, there's 6 of them, and there's 3 of us. But 2, because I was already almost at the car. I'm like, oh, shit, hell no. And I'm like, I'm over there. Boom. So I run over there and, start kung fu fighting. And before I know it, the fights are over because I knocked 2 of the dudes out instantly. I hit him, boom, he's done. Drop. And then my friends we start gaining the momentum. Police start showing up. My friend's like, you got to leave. I'm like, I'm not leaving. My friend is unconscious with his face split open because they hit him with the schooner mug. So I didn't leave for that reason. So the police show up and they're like, well, you did it. You did this. And because I'm the only one
that's okay.
Not beat up. I'm the only one not beat up. I'm talking shit to the cops because I think I'm right. I just graduated from college. I have a criminal justice degree. I know I didn't do anything but defend and self-defense. But I forgot that I was on probation already.
Oh, that messed you up.
That messed me up. Big time messed me up. So then, so again, I bailed out. I was out of there. So I go to court and they revoke my bail. So then they keep me. And I'm like, damn. And then they raised my bail. I was like, oh, shit. So I'm sick. So then I bailed out again. Because they just raised it. They didn't say no bail. They just raised it. So I bailed out again. And then
so none of these times you actually made it to the county yet?
No, I haven't made it to county yet. So I bailed out again. I was like, ooh, I'm out of here. So I keep dodging these bullets. And then the next judge is like, why is he out of custody? He's a menace and criminal, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to revoke his bail and no bail this time. I'm like, damn. So this time I was stuck. So then I end up in there in county, right? So
how was your experience? Because you're walking in, you think I don't know what you were thinking, but I'm assuming that you're like in your head, like, man, I don't belong here.
Oh, 100%.
I am, I just finished school. You think you're probably better than people.
Definitely. I don't think I'm better than people.
Not like that, but you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know, 100%. Because I felt I was just different. Right? Some people enjoy being there. Some people don't care and they keep doing dumb shit. And me, I was like, nah, I don't want to be here. So like, I felt like my mentality was different. So I didn't need to be here. So I did feel that. And I thought, I'll be out soon. I kept thinking, I'll be out soon.
And how was it for you when you just got there, though? Because you obviously don't know the process. You don't know the behavior of the guys. You don't know the rules. Because people that are in and out already know the rules.
Yeah, they already know the get down.
You didn't know anything. So how was that for you?
It was, to this day, it was the worst experience. Yeah.
No, for sure.
For sure, the worst experience. Aside, and it's not even the people per se, right? People make mistakes all the time. But sure, there are some people that that belong there or somewhere,
No, for sure.
away from other people.
Yes.
But it's not even that. It's just like the cleanliness of the place, right? It's just so filthy and dirty, and it stinks. And some officers are polite, but some are rude, right? And then you're violated from the time you get there. You have no rights, right? From the time you get there, like, take your clothes off, you're butt naked, go hit the shower, bend over, open your butt crack, like. Yeah, it's like, what? Like, hold on.
You're all, wait, I just finished school.
Yeah, I've never did this in my life. What do you mean I gotta, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, what do you mean? And they're doing it to everybody. Everyone's butt naked right there, sitting down on the bench. They call it nuts to butts. Move closer so we can make more space for you guys. And I'm like, damn, this is crazy. And it's a different time, because back in the day, you didn't have phones, right? You didn't have computers, you didn't have TV. So now they've taken your possessions, your phone, your car, everything. You have nothing. And you're just there, a number, just waiting to see what's going to happen next.
Yes.
And then also my crime was I was already on probation, right? Great bodily injury, because the guys that were beat up pretty bad. One had a broken orbital, broken nose, cracked tooth.
Damn.
Like, yeah. So then I was there for those crimes. So not only I didn't stay in county. They moved me to West Valley, because that's maximum security. Okay. And I'm like, hold on. I'm like, what do you mean maximum security? Where are you guys sending me?
But like, my question to you is like, obviously you are Mexican and black.
Yeah.
How was that for you? Because, like, were you like, who, like?
Well, definitely, because I grew up with more Mexicans. The blacks were my family and my friends and my sports, but I lived in Mexican neighborhoods, right?
And you spoke Spanish.
And I spoke Spanish. So the funny thing is, I mean, when I was there, one of the times, one of the black homies was like, he's like, hey, Freddie, you know a lot of Mexican people. I go, I'm half Mexican. He goes, oh, you are? And that was it. It didn't even care. He goes, he goes, oh, you are? Oh, okay. I knew something, because you know a lot of people. And it was true. They'd be like, yo, Fred, what up? And people would see me walk through passing. But overall, the experience, I mean, I look black. Right.
So you ran with the blacks.
I ran with the blacks.
Got it.
I'm black. I look black. My dad's black. But also there's politics, right? And I'll tell you, if whatever your ethnicity is or your color is, you better stay with your color unless you're ready for the consequences of what's going to happen. Because if something were to happen, I would be the first one they would go for, because I'm a traitor, right? If the black goes with the Mexican, he's the traitor. Get him first. If a Mexican goes with the blacks, he's a traitor. Get him first. Same thing with the white guy. If he goes with a different race, get him first. He's the traitor. So that's how that goes, which I already knew. Stick to your color. And it's a sad thing, because I had never really had a color.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like, that's why I was like so interested to hear your story, because I never had a black skin here. So it's like, so you went with the blacks, even though you're obviously you are black, you know, you're black and Mexican, but you're like kind of like more Mexican than me.
Yeah, ¿dónde está mi burrito, mi tacos? Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. I'm like, I understand. I'm like Mexican food and Mexican culture, and that's how I grew up. So it was difficult in a sense, because I didn't understand, I guess jailhouse rules.
Yeah, because it was never your lifestyle.
It was never my lifestyle, so it was different. But again, it was even more different, because, like I said, they moved me to maximum security right away.
And how was that for you?
It was more violating again, because after they strip you down and take everything from you, they move you to West Valley, where you're sitting in holding tanks for 5-6 hours, butt naked, waiting for someone to bring you out, put you around the table, get you more butt naked, and then give you old clothes, and then old, sorry. No, you're okay. Old gear, old everything, old blankets, and now you just got to go. And I think the biggest thing that kept me, I didn't necessarily care about race still, because I grew up that's not a thing to me.
So wasn't ever like an issue for you, or did people ever try to make it an issue for you?
Not necessarily,
because you weren't a gangbanger.
Yeah. So it wasn't necessarily an issue. I think one of the problems, or the good things on my side, is I got in a fight after a month of being there, and I beat the dude up. And after I beat that dude up, they're like, that guy's cool. Like, that guy's cool. He's minding his business. He stays out of the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's not a gang member.
He's not a gang member.
Most importantly,
he's not a gang member, but he's also minding his business. Like, he's not offending anybody. And I was blessed enough to have people that supported me on the outside. And
okay, your friends.
somewhat friends and
The
somewhat.
ones that you took care, the ones that you fought
Yeah,
for.
yeah. Some of them. The guy that got his face split open, we needed him to go back to court, and he didn't want to because he was scared that the charges that were all on me were going to go to him. So he never showed up. So I ended up beating him up too when I got out, for sure.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, for sure. He's like, we got to talk. I was like, no, there's nothing to talk about. Get out of my face.
yeah,
And
you're
he's
a
like, we got to
weenie-ass
talk.
fool. Yeah.
So then, so
How long did you fight your case for?
I fought my case for 8 months.
Oh.
So I definitely had to visit every module they had in Twin Towers, West Valley, maximum security, the trial module, the single man cell, 4-man cell, everywhere.
But everything was always kind of smooth for you.
Yes and no. I mean, I've seen people getting jumped. I've seen overdoses. I've seen people get beat up. Everything. I've seen it. I was watching it happen, and I was there for it. I had even when I was up, when I caught the chain, there was a huge standoff between the blacks and the Mexicans.
Okay, we'll get back to that really quick.
Yeah.
So you fought your case for 8 months. What did you get? What was your sentence?
So I was fighting my case for 8 months. Back and forth, and eventually I ended up going to trial because the things that they had me arrested for, I was like, I didn't do those things. It was a great bodily injury, assault with a deadly weapon, because they're saying, my friend that got hit with the schooner mug, they're saying that I hit him, for one, and two, that I had the weapon. So I didn't. So we ended up going to trial. From county, I ended up going to trial, right, where they had to bring my clothes for me, and I had to get dressed in the back and come out and pick the jury, right? Like I did the whole process. We had to pick the jury, pick the 12 people. We like that person. I'm talking to my attorney. Nah, we don't want that person. So to me, it was a movie. It was so weird, like that we were sitting there picking jury. And
So you actually picked them.
yeah.
And how was that experience? I don't think I've ever had anybody.
So yeah, I mean, nothing against anybody, but people don't take it to the box, because if you lose, it's all bad. You can get all your time. But I truly felt, I know I didn't hit anybody with a weapon. If you want to send me to jail for fighting, that's one thing. But assault with a deadly weapon, I had no weapon. So yeah, it was quite the experience, because we had to ask people questions and feel if they were racist or not racist or biased, or their experience in law enforcement altogether. Like, what do you even know about
Because you kind of knew a little bit of.
Probably whatever I knew, it was gone, because I was so in shock.
Yeah.
So stressed and so in shock from what was happening. I literally couldn't believe it. Being woken up at 3 a.m. to check our dorms, right? To being woken up at 2 a.m. to go to court. Being fed, a couple times a day and not eating enough food, where you're falling asleep hungry. So it was a different life. So I was, I got skinny. It was a drastic change.
No, for sure.
Yeah.
Especially because you're like this star, in your head.
Yeah, I was like, someone be nice to me. Like, what's going down over here?
What was I gonna say? It was something good.
About trials.
Yeah, it was about a trial. Yeah. What was it? I'll come back to me.
Okay.
So, what did you get sentenced to? You won your trial?
No. So we were going to trial back and forth for another 2 weeks. And so the people had to testify. It was crazy. People had to go on the stand and swear in and say what they saw. And a couple of my friends came. And then those people, luckily the guy that had his face broken said, they're like, well, what happened? He explained the story. He goes, did you see the person who hit you? And he goes, yeah, he's right there. I'm like, I'm sick. Like, these people are telling, like, this is him. And I'm sitting there and they're pointing at me. My life is over. I'm looking at, like, I want to say 26 years, right? Because I'm on probation already for those 3 years. Assault with a deadly weapon.
For fighting.
Great bodily injury, carries a lot. Priors, just all kinds of stuff. They're just trying to, like, stack my stuff up.
Yeah.
So I'm sick. And after all these people are saying this thing, they asked the guy, I go, well, what did he hit you with? He goes, his fist. I go, did he have a weapon? He goes, no. And he goes, well, what did he goes, he just punched me. He punched me, and then that was the last thing I remember. And then so they asked the other guy, did you see the guy? And he's like, yeah, that's him. He knocked my friend out. He knocked me out. They're like, did he have a weapon? He goes, no. He goes, did you see anything in his hand? And he goes, nope, not at any time. I'm like, hell yeah, we're good. So then they interview a waitress who was inside, and she said that I had a chair. Yeah, she goes, did they have a weapon? He goes, yeah, he had a chair, and he swung it, and he hit somebody with it. And so that was the one person.
I mean, isn't there cameras though? Like when you take it to trial, aren't you supposed to like do all of that?
The cameras were
That's
inside.
what I was gonna say. Yeah.
I think some of the cameras were inside, and it escalated on the outside in the patio.
Got it.
And then this was like 2000. I want to say like 9.
That was a while ago.
Yeah, so it was a while ago. So that one girl is threw the wrench in the entire thing. So then they take it to the back, and it took them 2 days to decide because they couldn't decide. And then I got a hung jury, which was 8 people not guilty, 4 people guilty. So I was sick again. I was like, oh, well, that was good because they're like, if you get another hung jury, you go home.
Oh.
Yeah. So 2 hung juries, you're good to go. But they don't realize I'm living in county. I'm living in the trial module. Like I'm ready to go now. So then the district attorney is like, hey, do you want to take a deal? You can take 6 years with halftime, 80% and a strike. I'm like, hell no. Like, no, I didn't do that. So let's, run it back. When I talk to my attorney, boom, run it back. They send me back to county for another month. Yeah. So you're just a waiting game.
Yeah, you're
right?
just there.
And while I'm waiting, I'm seeing these things happen, whether it's an overdose, whether it's the fight I got into, whether it's being pulled out of our dorms because they found a cigarette on somebody, just dumb shit happening. So then we go back after another 30 days and they come down and they're like, all right, he said, take 4 years with halftime and a strike. And I'm like, I don't want to strike. I go, I'll take 4 with half and no strike. And then he goes up and they leave me downstairs for a long time. I'm in the holding cell.
That's like the longest moments of your life.
Longest wait because there's no clocks, there's no TVs, there's no radios, there's no people. You're just sitting in a little cement block, just staring like, what's going to happen?
Yeah.
So I call my sister while I'm waiting, and she tells me, and she goes, well, what do you want to do? And I go, I don't know. She goes, well, if you know you didn't do this, she goes, then don't take the time. And I go, and to me, I was sad. I go, you know what? I'm not going to have a family. I'm not going to have a life. I'm not going to be able to make a difference. If I go to jail for 20 years, I'm 20. I'm gonna get out and be 40, 50 years old. I'm not gonna be able to get married and have kids and just enjoy life. Like I can see how this is going already. And it's only been, 6 months, 7 months, something like that. I'm like, this is not for me. I need to get out of here.
Yeah.
And I go anyway. And then she's like, well, let's pray. And, I'm going to pray with you and we'll figure it out. But if we have to do trial again, you think you should? I was like, I know, but I'm scared because what if there's another idiot that ruins it? Mm-hmm. And, so then my attorney comes down after another hour. He's like, they said they'll do 4 years with halftime and no strike, and they'll run it consecutive, so you can start now. So you end up, so I ended up doing. So then I took it. I'm like, fine, boom, let's run it.
It's scary.
Yeah, because I could lose, right? And then I end up getting the 20 whatever years that they wanted to give me. So I'm like, fine, I don't even know what I'm signing,
but let's
do it. Yeah. So from there, I ended up going to county for, I want to say, probably another couple weeks to catch the chain, right? To catch the chain, the big bus where you can't see shit. And the craziest part, I always tell people, the craziest part is they see people on those buses, but I was maximum security. So they had a chain around my waist. They had my hands handcuffed to my waist, and they had chains on my feet. And I was in the front gate. The front gate, the bus. I was in there. They're like, dude. So people used to look at me different. I think that's another reason why people didn't mess with me. Like, this dude's crazy. And then by then, I stopped cutting my hair, right? I stopped cutting. So my beard's long, my hair.
Oh, no.
I was like, I don't care. I'm trying to thug it out. I don't want no one to talk to me. I just want to mind my own business. And I did. And, then I ended up catching the chain and going, where's our first Delano? Okay. Delano's always the first stop. And I want to say I spent 2 months in Delano.
And that was like, how was that for you?
Delano's the reception. It was fine. Like I said, I mind my business to the max. I'm quiet. I mind my business and I try to help people. Not too much though, right? Because you don't want to be a punk. Like, this guy's just giving stuff up.
For sure.
But if I see somebody in need of something, I'll definitely help them out with it.
So you had your family. You say that they were there for you. Did
Partially,
you have visits?
Yeah, enough. Enough. They were there for me. Actually, the only person that visited me was one of my close friends' dads,
Aww.
who I call my godfather. But he's an ex-police officer. And because he knew me growing up, he knew me through life. And he's like, dude, this is not Fred. And there was nothing he can do about it, but just try to be there and support me. My dad was, whatever life he was living. And my mom wasn't able to do it. And it was a lot. I was up north. I was in county, like, and maybe it was tough for them too. I had my sisters. My sister tried to go one time, never made it in because she was just crying. She was like, I couldn't do it. I couldn't see my brother. She was just cry, 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 cry. So she never made it. But luckily, my godfather, he kept going. Every couple months, he would show up.
So what did you do majority of your time?
So I was there for 2 months. It went pretty quick, I think, because I started working in the kitchen, and then reception's different. It's kind of people were coming in and out, right?
So everything was just different. Like every day
is different. People were coming in and out. Then I would just play basketball when I could.
You worked out?
Yeah, a little bit. Basketball, workout, and then I'd work in the kitchen. And then from there, I went up to Tracy. And then that was more with it, right? More things are happening, where more fights are happening, more drug use in the back, more, because I don't even know if it was a 300-man dorm. I don't know if they still have it. It's like 3 and 4 level. And they would wait there until see where they go next. But there's 300 people in there.
Ooh.
Bunk beds.
That's intense, huh?
It was like a camp. They called it the camp because there was so many people. And there were fights. There was fights and there was drug use and drama. And like I said, that one standoff that happened because, it was drug use and money, whatever. And then everyone's standing in the middle of the quad.
Like some American Me vibes.
Yeah, they're like, let's go. I'm like, what? Like, let's go where? And then like, oh, there's a standoff. I'm like, what? Oh, hell no. Like, and to me is the worst part about it is in this 300-man dorm, I don't even know these people, right? When I was in my 4-man cell, I knew the people there, and even the 60-man, like I knew the 20 blacks, the 20, like we had an idea. But in the 300-man dorm, there's people coming in and out all the time, and they're the ones that are starting the drama.
The new ones.
The new people, the people that didn't know the politics, the people that didn't know what was going down, because they would go in there deep, right? And they would have everyone out butt naked right there on the yard, and so they were mean. They were strict, and the people knew that. But the new people didn't care. Or people that didn't have nothing to lose. They don't care.
Yeah.
So the standoff, I get to the standoff, and everyone's just face to face with each other. And then I guess the black rep and the Mexican rep, they stand to the middle and they start talking and they're just talking. I'm like, so what's happening? I'm like,
hey, you're on the back.
I'm like, so what's this?
You're on blood fighting.
Yeah, it's just gonna be like a war, right? Like it's all out brawl. Like, and that's what I'm thinking.
Scary.
Yeah. So luckily they talked it out, and nothing really happened there.
Oh God.
Yeah, nothing happened there, and then from there, I want to say, I ended up going from Tracy. I went down to Norco. So I ended up at Norco, which is a lesser facility, because I think I had about like 4 months left.
Oh, cool.
So
because it was like the 4-way half.
So I ended up doing another year. Because I was in Tracy for a few months, and then Delano for a few months. Then I was in Delano, then Tracy, and then Norco for 4 months. So like almost 3 to 4 months at each spot.
Okay.
So I ended up doing almost another year. I think at like 11 months. But the overall experience, I think it was just the experience. The things
for sure, especially for like you, that you didn't. You're not a gang member, bro. Like that's like you're not a gang member. You're not a drug user. You weren't ready for that.
I wasn't.
And you know what? Now that we're there for like the young men that are like football players, because little football players, they be thinking they're the shit.
Yeah.
And they really do want to fight everywhere. Like, don't screw your shit up because you think you're like this tough little football player, baseball, basketball ass fool. Like, tighten up, focus on what you're doing. Don't try to get in fights, because situations like this, like yourself, happen, I'm sure, so many times.
Absolutely. They got a place for us, right? Where no matter how tough you are, right?
Yep, we're all the same.
Yeah. And it's funny that you say that, because I tell people the real gangsters, they're locked up or dead. You know what I mean? There's some out here, sure, but they're not out here acting
That's right.
like that, right?
That's right.
And in my studies, I love to study organized crime, because those are the smart people, right?
Sick ass fools.
Right? They're in their suit and ties. They're the biggest gangsters are the real politics that are not out there putting themselves on blast and putting their people on blast and putting their city on blast and their family on blast. Dude, mind your business.
There's
do
levels.
what you got to.
Obviously there's different types,
Yeah, of course. But that's how I feel. Like, mind your business. Do what you got to do. You don't have to yell and beat people up and act crazy people think that you're crazy. Mm-hmm. That's just putting a target on yourself. And,
most definitely.
And they're going to see it. And they got a place for you, right? It's unfortunate. There's way more of them than us, no matter how tough you are.
That's right.
And like you said, in my situation, I'll tell you, I had all the friends at one point. right? But guess who was next to me when I was in jail? Not a damn person.
That's right.
Not one person. Whether I was in
That's
jail,
right.
whether I was on that bus, whether I was eating, whether I was hungry, whether I was alone, I was always by myself. And so you think you have a lot of friends, but in all reality, you probably have a handful of friends
That's
or no
right.
friends. Because when the shit hits the fan, they're going to move out of the way.
That's right.
And it's unfortunate.
So stay in school, play your sports, no fighting.
Mind your business.
Yes.
Yeah, mind your business. The fight I got into, the dude was a gang member.
And he
I was-
still snitched on your ass.
No, while I was in jail, in county, the guy, we were playing cards, and he just kept some cuz, and he kept doing that to me. But I felt that he was doing it on purpose because I already said, "Oh, I don't bang. I'm just doing my time." And when I was there, I would tell people my stories, right? Because I graduated from college. I've had friends.
He didn't like that shit.
I had friends that are professional athletes. I tell those stories and going out and going to Vegas and just having a good time and part. So people like, hey, Freddie, tell us another story. So because my life was different. I would live different life than the people coming in and out, So I would talk to them and tell them things, and I would hit me up on the outs. I'm not afraid of anything. I know people. I'll put you on. If I know somebody that can take care of you, I'll help you out. I want you to win. I want you to succeed. But I don't think he did like that. He was a hater. So he can't. Cuz, and we're playing cards, and finally I'm like, bro, I'm not a cuz. And he's like, oh, well, what you saying, cuz? I go, I'm saying stop calling me that. And he's like, oh, what you want to do? And I stood up. I go, we can do it right now. What do you want to do? And then the dorm rep's like, nah, not right now. You guys can handle it after dinner. I was like, but I want to fight right now. Like, I don't want to fight after dinner. I want to fight right now.
You're all mad now.
I'm mad now. Like, I don't want to fight later. So he's like, yeah, you got to, because it's a burn, right? Because in the maximum security, it's different from county. We're in like a kind of like in a museum, like you would say, right? Like they can just view us.
Yeah, like you don't want to ruin it for everybody.
Everyone's looking at us, and then the guards on the outside of the gauge, and they can see in. Right, it's like they're watching TV, like daily reality show.
Facts.
They're just watching us. They're just looking at it, and anyone stupid, they can see it right away. So like, yeah, all right, just wait till after dinner. And sure enough, after dinner, we ran that fade. I lit him up. He ended up shitting on his pants. Yeah, and since then, it went all through county, went through Wayside, and they're like, dude, do not mess with Freddie. Freddie's
cool.
Freddie's cool, but he'll also beat you. He's here for fighting.
Yeah.
Right. He's not here for tickets or drunk selling drugs or getting caught up. He's here for fighting, and he still has those weapons with him.
Facts.
So, right. He still has his hands with them. They're not going anywhere.
Yeah.
So after that
that's funny.
Most of my my visit was fine with people pressing me because they knew he's gonna mind his business, but he'll light your ass up.
Yeah.
And then when it came to like the gang politics and the other things, I stood out of it. Right.
Of course. Which is great.
I mind my business because it had nothing to do with me. And at the end of the day, they mind their business, right? And it's their business. It's what they got going on.
That's
so for me to put my nose in it,
it's none of your business, fool.
None of my business. Yeah, and I like to live to this day that way. It's not my business. I'm staying out of it.
So you've been out for how long?
I got out in 2012.
Okay.
Yeah.
So obviously you've been out for a long time.
Yes. Thank you, Lord.
Yes.
Thank you, Lord. I got out. I was on parole. I did my 3 years.
And
on
how
parole.
was that? How was the adjustment for you?
It was weird. I used to walk around with my hands behind my back. It was weird. I just felt, I don't know, like I didn't trust people. Like I didn't want friends. Like I would eat different, a little bit more paranoid. Like just because that's how my level was. We used to sleep with our shoes at the end of the bunk, right? Because anything can happen.
Yeah.
And luckily, only a handful of things happened, and they didn't involve me.
Yeah, and you're still like it still trained you. Yeah,
you're living on edge every single day. So that was the biggest thing. I just felt that I didn't want to go back either, right? Because I still was ready to slap somebody for tripping, but I had this pro officer that was coming and checking on me and seeing what I was doing, if I was going out. One of the restrictions, I couldn't drink, I think, like while I was on parole, because they're like, that's what got you caught up. I'm like, that's not what got me caught up. But yeah, I couldn't drink, and I had to have a job, right? Like all those things. I had to maintain these things, but also it's hard to get a job, right? You're a convicted felon. No one's to hire a convicted felon. So
before, at least, I think it's easier now.
Now for sure, it's a lot. I mean, now you can get it with tattoos, convicted felon. You can do what you.
Thank God.
The world's changed.
Thank God.
Yeah, the world's changed. And I think that's like the next part of my life. I think I started with a clothing brand. Right, it's called the 86ers.
86ers. And where did you get that name from?
So my friend Rocky, Rocky Nash, shout out Rocky Nash, my boy. He does the No Lane podcast.
Oh, yes.
Rocky, that's my partner. I love Rocky. I grew up Ballin Park, West Covina.
Yes, we were just with him like what, 2 weeks ago, babe?
Yeah, and like I said,
we went to his comedy thing.
Oh, okay, the Laugh Factory.
Yeah,
him, High Tone. I know all those guys. Those are my boys.
Oh, because you grew up in that area.
I grew up in the area, and I played sports, and I mind my own business.
Yes,
right. And for a while, like I said, some of my friends were pro athletes, and I'm like, yo, come out. I tell everyone, come out. You know, we're going to this club, we're going to that club. Come out, pull up. They would take pictures with everyone, sign pictures. We go to baseball games. Like we were literally sitting in the players section when we used to go to the baseball game. So it's all love. Like I seen what it is to have nothing, right? And I seen what it is to have things and go places. So to me, I wanted other people to have that also. Because to have it, you like that, huh?
That is cute.
I was waiting. I brought you one, and I brought him one too. I'll tell you about that in a minute. Rocky, it was streetwear, the 86ers, to be kicked out because we're different, right? We had tattoos, we get in fights, bald head. That was the meaning of it at that time. And then I linked up with Rocky and we started pushing the brand. And as we grew, we kind of went our separate ways, not in a bad way, but I just kept pushing the brand and Rocky just kept pushing his brands and what he was doing. But the circle that I lived in was an athletic world, right? Because I still knew tons of people in the athletic world.
Yeah, you played sports. You went to all these schools and met so many guys.
Exactly. So we were pushing the brand and people were wearing it, but then I thought to myself, like, I need to get to the next level. That's one thing I always, what's next? So to get to the next level, I figured what's next? And for the brand, I redefined it and renamed it to be 86th for being different, for your race, your religion, your monetary status, and being judged for who you are. You're being 86 from society, from your family. And now we work, excuse me, we work with, I want to say,
both of those are yours.
Now we work with like cerebral palsy. We work with like the Special Olympics.
Okay, that's cool.
Because they've been 86th, right? They've been judged. They've been 86th. They've been looked down upon. We work with homeless people because they've been 86th. So I switched the entire meaning. We work with athletes because they've been told, oh, you're not good enough. You're not fast enough. Musicians, music artists, you're not smart enough. You don't have enough sales, but they don't care. We don't care what anyone says. We've been 86th and we fight back. We fight back for what we believe in. So then we started pushing that meaning of the brand.
I love that.
Thank you. Yeah. So we started pushing that meaning of the brand, and then it started to grow. Our first big athlete I want to say we worked with is George Foreman. Okay. I did some gear for him, and he started wearing the 86er gear. So then it caught a spark in the boxing world. We've worked with Amir Khan when he fought Canelo Alvarez out there in Vegas. Amir's
I'm like, go Canelo now.
Yeah. I grew up Canelo too, right? Like
for sure. Right, no, I'm just talking
golden
shit.
boy.
For
like
sure,
that.
But if he's wearing your brand, that's what we're going for.
That was the opportunity that presented us, and we're like, oh hell yeah! Like fighting Canelo, it's big. Right? He can fight anybody, but fighting Canelo is even bigger.
Yes.
So we went to the fights. We went to the fights. We were
and he was
ringside.
Wearing your brand.
He was wearing our brand. We were ringside with Evander Holyfield. We were ringside with Roy Jones. With everybody.
Yes.
Right? And then I started pushing the brand. I started telling these people. So it was then we worked with Evander Holyfield. Later that weekend, Evander was rocking 86ers all week with his hat. He did shout outs, everything, because I tell them the meaning, what it is, and they love it. And they're like, oh, I want to support it.
For sure.
So in that sense, that's how we kept growing, I believe, was pushing a positive meaning and getting it to the right people. George Foreman's also my cousin. So that's why I think he started. I think that's why he started wearing it. Show his support.
He's your older cousin.
So him and my dad are first cousins.
Oh,
yeah, him and my dad are first cousins.
He's your family.
Yeah, we got the blood. Yeah, bloodline.
Oh, no wonder, fool! You're taking fools down.
So that's part of the background. We like boxing. I grew up boxing.
Okay. And what else do you do
now? So the brand, as the brand started expanding, my aunt called me one day. The brand was growing and it was working good. We're working with tons of people, tons of athletes. My aunt was like, "Hey, do you know anyone that wants to open a bar or restaurant?" I'm like, "Yeah." Like, what kind of question is that? For sure, let's do it. And she's like, "All right," because I have my license, but it hasn't been in use in X amount of years, so I got to get it active again. So I called two good friends of mine that I know, have the capital for it and are interested or
especially
entrepreneurs.
because you went to school, so you know all these people that
that are ready to be on the next level. Because in my mind, I still want the next level.
Of course.
So I called my friends, met with my aunt, and we started working on it, and eventually opened the 86ers Lounge. So now we have the 86ers brand. Now we have the 86ers Lounge. And then with the 86ers Lounge, we have a catering license attached to it. And with that, we cater alcohol outside of the bar. So we do birthdays, we do concerts, we do meet and greets, we do comedy shows.
And that's where we met.
That's where we met. We're doing an event, and we set up the bar for them. We set up the bar for them. We sell the alcohol. And it's a profitable business for everyone that's involved, right? Because I like telling people, you go to an event, and most of the people are at the bar.
Yeah,
right?
it was the back in the days. Shout out to N-Dub.
N-Dub doing his thing back in the day, Nationwide doing their thing. I worked with him a few different events.
Because you have like a big setup.
So the cool thing is our setup can go anywhere. It's mobile, anywhere.
And it's big.
Well, those we leave those at the stadium just because those are big.
Yes.
But like we'll do, for instance, we can do like a comedy show at a venue, and we can bring our bars. And we have portable bars that we can set up, and we have staff that we can set with their computers, their square reader systems, and it's just like I tell people, like the Taco Man shows up. We just same thing, but liquor. Yeah,
nice.
And in an entrepreneur world, I think it's very profitable for them too.
Oh, for sure.
Because most people, if you took your event to, I don't know, we can say Crypto Arena, they're gonna say thanks. Like, we just sold all this alcohol, and we sold all these tickets, and that's why they're doing it. They're in the business of doing that. But they don't allow people in it. Even if you took your birthday party, like Mama por Dos, great, nice restaurant, super expensive. You spend all that money's going right to the bar. But with us, we like to work with people that are putting their events on, that are hosting their events. That way it can be profitable for them to take their own mobile bar, the same like they take another vendor.
So kind of like basically like I'm gonna hire you. I'm hiring you, so I'm giving you the money. But whatever alcohol sales get sold, kind of go back to me. Kind of vibes.
Percentage will go back.
Got
to
it. Got it. Well, that's super good to know.
Yeah.
Okay.
So people, once they learn that, they're like,
Let's
go.
do
it. Yeah, because if you say you do an event, right, and 500, we'll say 500 people come out, but you take them to a venue that already has their liquor license. They're like, thanks for bringing everybody.
Yeah.
Right? Enjoy your ticket sales.
You're not making anything out of it.
No, maybe ticket sales. But we pretty much create the event from scratch, and whoever's putting their event on, they get ticket sales, they get vendor sales. We're changing the game, right? We're pretty much putting the game out there for people to learn.
Sure.
Back in the days, the game was supposed to be sold, not told. Everyone started telling the game, so I'm telling the game. If you want to do a business, tap in. We're showing people how to do it and how it can be profitable for you, so you don't have to work for the man. The man, no one even knows the man.
Yeah,
right?
That's right.
Who's the man?
Yeah.
The man. No one knows the man.
Yeah.
But if you work with us and what we're doing, I'll show up directly and help you. And
everybody's working together.
everyone's working. I'm going to show up. I'm going to explain to you, explain the business, explain the law, and how to do it the right way. So I think people also appreciate that.
Yeah.
And that's why the business is still growing.
Good. That's dope.
Yeah. Thank you.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I made this shirt.
I know. I like it. Tell us about the shirt.
So the shirt, the clothing brand, the 86ers, the 86ers, ENT.com. You can find our different logos, our designs, and merch. But it went from a t-shirt company. I think it's like we help people, so it's an entertainment company. And our designs are part of my life story.
Got it.
Right? And this shirt here says Lost LA County Survivor. And it looks like an LA County jail shirt, right? But everyone has a story of how they survived LA County, right? Whether they've been to county or not, whether they've been arrested or not, LA is
huge.
It's huge.
You mean LA County in general?
LA County, Southern California. And most people know what the county blues look like. So this also represents the 86ers though, right? It's something positive. If you wear those county blues, nothing positive is going to come from it. Wearing our county blue, you still get the fun feel of it, but it's not even that. And also we represent, like I said, we work with cerebral palsy. We work with the Salvation Army of Hollywood. Like, we give back to the community. We're trying to help people and change the things that are happening. But definitely it's an LA County Survivor shirt. Everyone has a story and how they survived some Southern California story. And Yeah, so the different designs, they're going to represent meanings and stories from the upbringing and
For
things that
sure.
we've been through.
Love that. That's dope.
Yeah, thank you.
I'll check my shirt on. I'll check it out when we finish.
Yeah, I got you a couple.
Thank you. Well, is there anything else that you want to share that you haven't shared before we close?
No, I mean I feel like I just poured it out there.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah. This is also I also don't share this part about me a lot because again, you're judged no matter what, right? No matter what, people are already judging us, right?
Yes.
Right now, oh, Negna, she has that guy, and
Yeah.
oh, Freddie, that guy. We're being judged
Yeah.
automatically. So a lot of the times, I don't even share my story of the things that I've been through.
Yeah, people don't even know that
People don't even know.
Yeah.
People don't know, and most of the time, I don't care for them to know. But
Yeah,
if they
it's
do
not-
want to know, I'll share with them, and
Yeah.
because I want what's best for them.
For sure.
Because I'm not a hater.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
And if you could do it, we all could do it.
Exactly.
If I could do it, you could do it.
That's why, I want to thank you and ICOM for the time and being
thank
able to, share this with you guys because I don't share my story, but I'd love to share the story with everybody that it actually matters to. Because me
right.
just talking to people, that's not going to matter.
Yeah.
But the people that do want to know and feel down, right? Like, oh, damn, I can't make it. Or, I'm never going to make it. Or I
Yeah.
want to do this or I want to do that. I'll tell you, I have stories for days, and I'd love tap in, holler at me, and I will share. Like I'll share my stories. I'm not afraid to talk to somebody, give someone advice, or just be there and tell them it's gonna be okay.
That's right.
When you're going through hell, they say just keep going.
Yeah.
Right. Like just keep.
We'll
it going.
survive.
Yeah.
Well, everything ends. Like everything finishes. Whatever
Yeah.
you're going through, it's gonna finish, and you're gonna go through something else.
Yeah. Just keep going
Yeah.
through it, and you'll get through it.
That's right.
Yeah. So that's why I'm happy, and thank you again for the time and being able to share my story with you guys.
You're welcome, and thank you.
Yeah. Of course.
Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and follow us on Instagram.